Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Transformation Day 2, day 454 for those of us in the challenge. Let me know where you're watching from. This is our free 5-day preview of what we do in the challenge. Today's day 2. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's challenge. Hopefully you started meditating, gratitude journaling. Yesterday's video was amazing. Hope you enjoyed it. Today's Transformation Day 2. Today, what I'm going to talk about will change your life. Good morning, Christina Whitaker is in the house. Gina Gillis is in the house. Hope you guys are doing great. You tell us where you're watching from. Some people are watching on YouTube. Which group are you watching in? Good morning, John Clark. Are you watching on my fan page? Good morning, Sandra. Are you watching on my YouTube channel? Are you watching from the challenge group, which is the paid private group? Or are you watching from the free transformation community? Where are you guys watching from? Margaret, hello. Happy birthday. John Clark, hope you're doing good, man. And we got a lot of Facebook users here. You have to give StreamYard permission so your name shows up. Good morning, Joan Kovacs. Watching from the challenge group. That's my paid group right there. Jennifer Yoakum, watching on something new from Fort Worth here. All right. Good morning, Tracy. Paid private group, Sandra. Yes, you are. She's in it. Good morning, Pernille from the challenge group. That's the paid group right there. Paid group right there. See, got a lot of people already in the tribe, like Janet Gann. Dawn, I don't think Dawn is in my group there. All right. There you go. Good morning, Rhonda Oster. So welcome to day 2 of the Transformation Challenge. Mostly, almost once a month, I open up my challenge and give you a 5-day preview to kind of give something back to the community. If you do what we're going to try to teach you to do the next 5 days, your life will change. Your life will transform. I promise you. There's a lot of people. You can just read all the comments and see how their life has changed from being in the tribe. The challenge isn't open yet, but I will open it here later for you guys. All right. Sally's watching. That's awesome. She's down there in Australia, down in Perth, Australia. Lovely area. Mary Douglin's not even a surgery patient, but she follows. Ashley Kirby is in the paid group. All right. Lisa Jones is, she actually does weekly group coaching with me. Good morning, Kathleen Hurley, watching on YouTube there. If you're on YouTube or in one of the other pages on Facebook and you want to join the free transformation community, just go to transformmylifechallenge.com, transformmylifechallenge.com, and it'll take you to the free transformation challenge group. Good morning, Penny Pretty, miss you in group. Diane, Aaron. So at the very least, do yourself the favor and get into the free group. The free group is transformmylifechallenge.com, transformmylifechallenge.com, and it'll take you to our free Facebook group. Good morning. So Aaron's watching on YouTube. Join our free group, Aaron. You'll see it much better. So as always, I start off briefly with the news. It's going to be a quick one. There's not much in the news. Politics as usual. A few more shootings. We're learning more information. Memorial Weekend is this weekend here in the United States. So it's the first major holiday post-vaccination for 50% of the Americans. Roughly 50% of Americans have been vaccinated. I tell you, you still need to be cautious. You still need to wear your masks. You still need to just, social distance. Hopefully you're hanging out with people that have been vaccinated, so that way everybody is more likely to not pass it on. Okay. So that's pretty much it for the news. Just politics as usual, just fucking BS here and there. COVID numbers are looking pretty good in the United States. We're down to about 25,000 cases a day. Vaccinations up to about 50%. So I think all the vaccine deniers, conspiracy people, they are actually getting the vaccinations, and they're actually quite the minority. We are going to, whether you like it or not, you're going to live in a world that's going to require this vaccination. Over 400 colleges and universities are requiring kids to be vaccinated before they go back in the fall. So if you've got a college age kid, they're going to most likely have to get vaccinated. In which case they're going to want you to get vaccinated. So I think the vaccine deniers and conspiracy people they make a lot of noise, but they're way in the minority. I think for the most part, we all want to go back to some sort of new normalcy. And I just got back from Costa Rica, where I spent last week, and I'll tell you, there is this kind of opening up fear. It's really true. Most people in Costa Rica have not been vaccinated. They have a 2% vaccination rate. And I just had to remind, Erica, that like these people are not vaccinated. You can't be all snuggly with them. True, you're vaccinated, like she and I are fully vaccinated, but you still want to minimize your risk. Why? This is a global pandemic, which is why all of the conspiracy theories about Republicans and Democrats was like really stupid, because this like as if the virus cares, as if like it's a global thing. And they don't care about, who our president is. They're just worried about their own fucking lives. So trouble's brewing in Malaysia. Malaysia actually has more cases per capita than India, because India's population is so big. India is, I said so big. India is starting to get control of their pandemic. Japan numbers are low, but remember their population is really dense. I mean, they've got a lot of people crowded onto an archipelago, and Japan has the Summer Olympics coming here in a couple of months, and there's a lot of pushback that they need to cancel it. And then Brazil is hanging around 65,000 cases a day since February. They can't get a handle on this thing either. So who knows? And that's leadership too. Their leadership kind of took the more Republican stance that, beads and like you didn't need to shut down. And now, Brazil, after the United States, has more deaths than anywhere else, just right behind the United States. And the U.S. will hit 600,000 deaths here in the next couple of weeks. So it's pretty stinking crazy. And Argentina is on fire and I'm a little bit worried about South Africa. I feel like there's going to be something that's going to be brewing in South Africa too. So we got to keep an eye on that. All right, good. Let me say some hellos here. Joe Bev, Mimi McCreary. If you want to join the free Transformation Challenge group so you can talk about these videos, change your life, go to transformmylifechallenge.com, transformmylifechallenge.com. So if you're watching on YouTube and you're not part of the like Tracy here, you're not part of the community, go to transformmylifechallenge.com and it will take you right to the Facebook group, and it's a free group. Good morning, Thomas Thompson. He's in my tribe. Jeanette Valencia is in my tribe. Sally Meadows is in my tribe. So Lori Brown, hope you're doing great. That's it about for the news. I was going to show you my garden today, but there's construction on a house behind me. And literally for a month, they had the decking up and they haven't built anything else. And I was like, there's something going on here. And it turns out yesterday they came with a bunch of lumber and they built the frame. And I was like, I knew it, man. I knew it. They were stalled on lumber issues. So they're really hammering away now. So it's pretty loud outside. So I thought I'd take it into my office. This is my office in my new house. I do not play the piano. It came with the house. I do play a little bit of, where's my guitar? A little bit of guitar, but nothing to brag about. And hopefully the acoustics are okay. Sharon Kiefer's in my tribe. AC's in my tribe. Cynthia Dales is in my tribe. Cynthia actually gives us weekend exercise challenges. So she has a cute 2-minute video today. Cynthia, thank you for doing that. If you haven't seen her on YouTube, look her up, Cynthia Dales, the vegan sleeper. And she has a cute little 2-minute exercise today called the Mario. Liberty from Las Vegas is in the house. Susan's in my tribe. Kimo, you got to get into the free community, transformmylifechallenge.com, transformmylifechallenge.com. All right, we've got 200 people on all the platforms. It'd be a short talk today. We really want to invite you to join our free community, transformmylifechallenge.com. And you will find a supportive group of people. You can talk about what your struggles are. There's a lot of people in there that are non-surgical, that are pre-op. Non-surgical meaning they have no plans on having surgery. Pre-op means they want to have surgery, but they're waiting on their surgery date. And there are people that have just had surgery, like AC, and then there are people that are years out, like Karen, So there's a wide variety, and it's a very positive community. TransformMyLifeChallenge.com. It's a very positive community, and we're here to support. Okay, so the next 5 days, put commit in the comment section if you're committed to being here for the next. Oh, now it's 4 days. Today's the second day, right? Were you here? Or will you be here tomorrow? Because if you will do these next 5 days, that's free. Your life will change, right? Your life will change. I promise you. Patty Nelson was sleeved on this February 2017. Put commit in the comment section if you're going to be here. Carolyn's committing, right? Get into the Facebook group, Carolyn. Commit, and your life will change. Look at that. Just 4 days. Come on, you can do it. Show up tomorrow. Commit to yourself that you'll be here tomorrow. This is the key, man. Yesterday's talk, hopefully you really, really enjoyed it. About how your old ways no longer serve you, and people having expecting the outside things to change their lives, and you really need the inside things. So with that, let's just get started. It's going to be a shorter one today. Welcome everybody to Transformation Day 2, day 454. If you're in the challenge group, we are halfway to day 500. Can you believe that? It's crazy. Every day I go live in my challenge group to give you people nuggets. We talk health, exercise, diet. We'll talk food, gardening. We talk money. We talk a lot about money and things that will really transform your life. So I do these 5-day free things most months just to give back to the free community, right? We love you to join the free community. I don't know where this video finds you. You might be struggling. I'll talk a little bit about the stock market today because I know the markets they're due for a correction. A lot of you guys your jobs might have been eliminated during this coronavirus, not because, partially because of the lockdown, but really, honestly, let's be honest here. Most of y'all lost your jobs because management took the time during the lockdown to find efficiencies and they eliminated your position. So your company's not out of business, but your position was eliminated. That's happening. Watch this. Comment if you've noticed when you go into the grocery store or Lowe's or Home Depot, where are all the fucking cashiers, right? Everything is self-checkout. Everything is like they're pushing you there. When I was traveling to Costa Rica last week, I was surprised at how few airline stewardesses there were, like at the check-in counter. They had huge pods of self-check-in computers and one or two people just helping everybody. And they got rid of, there weren't that many people in line, like the old-fashioned way, waiting in line to go up to the counter. Like, no, they were wanting you to do one of these little check-in pods, and then they had little couriers. Well, the stewardess would just roll your bags and throw them on the conveyor belt for you. So there was no waiting in line. So that is a function of what's happened during this pandemic, which is these companies have taken time to find efficiencies, and a lot of positions have been eliminated. You'll see. We'll talk a little bit about money in the next couple of days, but it's super important. And every talk is going to build up. So if you haven't seen yesterday's Transformation Day 1 video, please go back and watch my live there. And then you can fast forward, if you need to. And then today's is going to build on that. And then that will make you understand how you change your life. Okay. If you say, no, Dr. V, fuck off, you don't know what you're talking about. If you're one of these people that are like, stay in your lane, Dr. V, that says more about you. You think I only have one lane. That's your problem. I'm like a 10-lane highway. I know a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff, and I know a lot of people who know a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff. So you can keep your head buried in the sand, but and get run over, because that's what's going to happen, man. You're going to get run over. I told Erica's mom about self checkout, um, like 5, 6 years ago. It's coming to fruition, and she said, no, no, people like to say hi. I have my regulars, and I said, you're not going to have a choice. And I'm not even going to talk. I'm not even talking about self checkout. I said in the very near future, you're just going to walk into the store and there will be no checkout. You'll just get your groceries, your nails, your buckets, your plants, your little gifts, whatever it is you want to buy. You'll put it into your bag, and you're going to walk right out the door. But Dr. Vong, that's like stealing. No, it's not, because there will be sensors built into the stores where you will just walk out, and it will automatically charge your credit card. It will know exactly how much that cantaloupe is that you bought, or that container of strawberries, or those protein bars, and it will automatically figure out the total cost, and charge your credit card as you walk out the door. There will be no checkout in the future, right? I am a 10-lane superhighway freak. All right. So now, what's the problem with that? Well, that might be that cashier position, might be that single mom's second job that is just making the ends meet, paying for the bills. It could be their primary job, in which case that's pretty sad too. But a lot of these positions that are being eliminated. If you don't believe me, all you have to do is go back. And last June, I interviewed a man named Walter O'Brien, who's got the fourth highest IQ ever recorded, 196. It was last June when the pandemic started, and we talked about the future, and he said this. He said, you'll see. He says, my concern is that these major companies, are using this pandemic to eliminate jobs, and now you're starting to see that, man. So don't bury your head. Join the free communities. That way you can stay up to date on stuff like this, because we talk about this stuff all the time. All right, back to today's video, which is a 3-minute music video from Moby that really went viral back in 2016, when people were really into selfies, into their smartphones, and filters was a new thing, Snapchat, and people were putting emojis, and we started to learn the word filter and the word emoji, and the musician Moby wrote this video, wrote the song, Are You Lost in the World Like Me? And it never really, like, the song never really took off, but the video became very, very powerful. So it's only a 3-minute video, and it's a cartoon animation. And there are a couple of things about the video I want to point out, and then I'll get into my talk, right? And you have to remember the setting of 2016. People were just really getting into their filters and emojis and smartphones and stuff. And the video is kind of a very scary, futuristic look at the world, where there's a little kid and everybody else is so big, right? And everybody's an automaton, just kind of like this on their phone, and don't notice anything. And there are several parts of the video that are very scary. One, like everybody's walking over him and not noticing him, and they're all glued to their cell phones. Everybody, looks really sad, but then they put the filter in front of. There's a part where one lady puts the phone in front of her face, and her face lights up and looks all pretty and skinny, and then you take away the filter and she's really all sad. There's a really powerful one where they're hitting all the emojis of love and laughter and smiling, but they have no emotions on their face. It's super, super powerful. There's one scene where he's on the subway, and there's a bully like picking on this woman, and he has this imagination where he imagines himself like flying through the air and punching this bully in the face, and then everyone like claps for him, and the girl like has heart-shaped feelings for him, and he ends up doing nothing because he's scared, and the bully hits the girl and stuff like that, and he feels really bad for himself. There's also, this one's funny, because there's one scene where he's walking in front of a restaurant, And there's a lady who is, they're a lady and a man are on a date, and she starts swiping his face and picks someone else that she likes better and chooses him, and he pops up and he shows up. Basically, it's a commentary on Tinder, which in 2016 was like people didn't really know about, and now it makes total sense, and people are doing that all the time. Tinder is just a huge hookup app, right? Um, and there's also one scene that, who remembers when this started? Who remembers when this started? When people like would take photos of their food and upload it to social media. And when that first started, who remembers like your very first time seeing people like take pictures of their food and you're like, what the hell are y'all doing? Just eat the damn thing. Who remembers that? Yeah. And so now, well, in the video, he shows people at the restaurants just like snapping pictures of the food, but in the background, a truck full of animals that are going to the slaughterhouse. They're screaming for their lives is in the background. Really powerful video. I think the most powerful part of the video is there's a part where this young girl is very distressed, very, very distressed, and she's on top of the building, and she's looking down, and she's gonna jump. She's gonna commit suicide, and everybody on the bottom points their cell phone up at her, and she jumps, and all the cell phones follow her down, and then record her leap, and then they all walk away and go back to their own lives, and he's left with a tear. And it's so funny, because it's not funny, it's really sad, but because that's become kind of the world that we live in now, right? So if you're not supposed to watch the news, but if you watch the news, like, there's so many people committing atrocities, and we've become so used to it. Just like, this past week, when there was that shooting in Oakland, where 9 people now have lost their lives in San Jose, California, and that's just the start of it. I mean, there have been so many mass shootings this year. It's really, really crazy. So we're all just like in this passive mode where we're just like watching things, and we're watching this young girl commit suicide, and we're recording it, we're uploading it to social media. And then the whole video, for the most part, is in black and white, but the end of the video shows this beautiful sunset and landscape. And what you notice is everybody's on their cell phone, and they're walking away from the sunset, which is very beautiful. And as it pans out, you realize they're all falling off the cliff, like they're on top of a cliff, and they're all falling off the edge of the cliff like lemmings. And but the background is this beautiful sunset. I mean, it's like, and it's a very powerful statement about how we're all living our lives and missing the point of what we're doing. So that's today's video. I posted it on my fan page, in the free community, in the paid challenge group, and you can check that out by Moby. It's Are You Lost in the World Like Me? And that's what I really want to talk about today. Right now, as the world starts to open up, there's a lot of anxiety and fear. Actually, put a 1 in the comment section if right now, as you're seeing the world open up and you're hearing what I'm saying, you have anxiety about opening up. Like, you have anxiety about what's happening with school-age kids. You have anxiety about going to the restaurant, and bars are now packed. I have a member in my tribe who's a musician, and she goes, man, my last gigs have been packed, then there's no social distancing, and people, people are all just like in there like it's not anything. See, all these people are having anxiety about opening up again, even if you're like, even if you're vaccinated, that there's something weird happening, right? So there's this anxiety about opening up, and it's real, because when I traveled to Costa Rica, man, I felt it. I was just kind of like, whoa, So if you have this anxiety, what you have to understand, like anxiety is a very common emotion, and it comes and goes. I don't have anxiety, by the way, but I have a couple of situations that kind of makes me want nervous or throat punch somebody, but but it's a very base level anxiety. And if you make it more intense, it becomes stress, and then chronic stress, and then at some point it forks. It either leads to depression or it leads to like anger, right? And what you're seeing as the world is opening up now, and especially as people have more access to guns, and I know I'm not here to have a gun debate with you. It's the person pulling the trigger. I get that. But with access to guns, you're seeing that, their only way to release this anxiety is to commit these some terrible things that are happening, right? Mass shootings, murders, stabbings. It's just a couple of we've already forgotten. Like last month, there was when they announced the new stimulus, and somebody got their stimulus check. Like there was this family where like 4 people were murdered over a stimulus check, things like that, right? So we all have this anxiety about opening up. And what we want to do in this community is to really is to really control like like our emotions, and how we can uh, like open up with this sense of like calmness, right? So what I want to talk about is how do we do that, right? So the first thing I want to tell you is I want to talk about. Tony Robbins talks about the six human needs. There's 6 human needs, and I'm not going to talk about all of them but it's super relevant to what we need to know today. And if you are really paying attention to what I'm going to say today, your life will change, and you can come be part of our community and our tribe. And if you just want to be an asshole, then no one cares. No one cares about your opinion. You know. So Tony Robbins says there are 6 human needs, and the first one is certainty. That's the first human need, is certainty. For example, wherever you're watching me from, let's say you're in your bedroom. Well, you have to be relatively certain that your roof isn't going to cave in. As we open up and we go to conferences and events, and we're all sitting in a movie theater or a convention hall, there has to be certainty that the roof isn't going to cave in. Because if it is, because if there's a possibility that we don't feel safe about the roof not caving in, we won't want to be there, right? So certainty is very powerful. I remember a episode of the Twilight Zone. Who remembers the Twilight Zone? This guy dies. This guy dies, and he goes. He goes to heaven, and in heaven, this is the old black and white one, and he gets there, and well, he dies, and he goes to this place, and this place is full of women. This place looks like a luxurious penthouse. He's got the most amazing views. The apartment is like huge. It's a massive mansion. It has all sorts of like the furnishings are top notch. He's got all the best foods, the best drinks, and he has this host there, and he goes, "Well, welcome here." He goes, "Oh, what happened?" And he goes, "Well, you passed on." And so he goes, "Well, can I eat this?" "Yeah, you can eat whatever you want." And he eats it, and he goes, "Oh my God, this tastes so good." He drinks all this wine. He says, "This is the best wine." There's a pool table, and he shoots the ball, and he can't ever miss. He never misses, never misses. He sees a beautiful blonde, and he starts to talk to her, and she's all into him, and eventually they start kissing, and then he sees another girl, and there's a brunette and a redhead, and whatever, and they all are into him. So Then the next day goes by, and the next day, and the next day, and he eats foods, but he's never full. He drinks, but he never gets drunk. He can't miss a ball, so he's always winning. He never strikes out with any of the ladies. They're all into him. He can have sex with all of them at any point that he wants, right? And he gets miserable, and he goes, "This is awful. Like what? Like why? Like oh my god! Like this, I'm driving myself crazy." Like he goes, "I thought heaven was supposed to be this place where you're always happy. Like why? Why do I feel so miserable?" And the host looks at him and says, "What makes you think this is heaven?" And it's Twilight Zone, like ho 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 ho, and like zooms out. So it turns out he was actually in hell, right? So tip number two, right? Tony Robbins says you need certainty, but tip number two is this: you need uncertainty. So the second of the six human needs is uncertainty. There has to be a little spice in life. There has to be something at risk. There has to be something, like you can't always win, because then you'll get bored with it. You can't, every time you hit a golf ball, you can't make a hole in one. That's what makes life interesting, is like the challenges, right? Now, you have to have a certain amount of certainty, like you have to be safe, you have to know, like you can drive your car, and you're willing to like understand that there's a risk of car wrecks, but you know it's not, you know, you'll get to your destination safe most of the time. You go to your job, and you do your job, and you get home safely. That's certainty. And what happens is, when when people are behaving the way they're behaving now, why do they do this? Because it adds to the uncertainty. It adds to the chaos. So when I do this, I'm going to make the world very uncertain, very scary, and they're going to put my name and my face up on the newsreel. Actually, watch this. Notice, comment if you've noticed that they have really stopped putting up information about the shooters now. Like they don't really put up their names. They don't really put up their faces, unless they didn't die. I mean, if they're standing trial or they got arrested, then they'll release their info and their picture. But if they did a murder suicide, they're not putting up their profiles anymore. Have you noticed that? And I've only noticed that in the last couple of weeks, right? Okay. So you need certainty, but you also need uncertainty. So this Twilight Zone episode where the guy was, drinking all he wants, but not getting drunk, winning every game he plays, hooking up with every girl that's in there. Turns out that's not heaven. It was hell. It was hell because there's no lack of certainty. There's no uncertainty. What makes life interesting is when you apply for promotion and you don't know if you're going to get it. That's the excitement. That's the drama. Like applying to a school. Like I have my dream school, my moonshot school, and then I have my backup schools in case I know I'll get into this backup school. So there's all built into the uncertainty, right? Now, tip number 3, and this is the most powerful one. And if you really understand this third human need, it will really change your life, and it will change how you see things and how you go through your day. And I think it's the most powerful one. The most powerful human need is number 3, significance. Humans need to feel significant. And if you understand that, you will understand all the baby drama, all the mama drama, all of the stuff that you see on social media. You'll understand clickbait titles. You'll understand why why advertisers do what they do. You'll understand why your sister-in-law acts the way she acts. You'll understand why your coworker acts the way he acts. It's significance. And I spend a lot of time discussing this with Erica about this human need. And imagine you're walking down the street and you see a guy who has nothing, let's say, and I don't want to stereotype anybody, but you can tell, like they're kind of down and out, their heads down, they don't feel so good about themselves, right? So how significant do they feel? Maybe they're unemployed. Maybe they just got laid off. Maybe their relationship just broke up with them. How significant do they feel? They don't feel very significant. Am I right? Okay. So, but what happens if you walk up to them and they put a gun to your head? How significant do they feel now? I mean, they basically went from zero significance to the most significant thing in your fucking life right now because they have a gun to your head. It's a major human need. If they walk into a grocery store um, and they rob it, how significant do they feel? In that minute, come on, empty the cash register. Give me your shit. Give me your wrist. Give me your watch. Give me your jewelry. Da, 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 da. That how significant do they feel? I mean, if you guys are like me, a child of the 80s and 90s, who remembers Point Break? Um, where the Patrick Swayze movie where they're the bank robbers and then they're always they're going for the adrenaline rush, skydiving, like surfing big waves. That's like trying to find significance. So imagine this person who, for whatever reason, um, does not feel very significant in their workplace. Maybe they were teased, they were picked on, they were passed up for a promotion, uncertainty, right? Maybe they asked out a girl and she shot him down or whatever. So now for the next couple minutes, he walks through the workplace with multiple guns, like some sort of fucking video game, and he shoots up everybody, and he puts a gun and he stares into the face of somebody who's begging him to spare her life. How significant does he feel? And this is all the shit that we see from video games and movies and stuff like that. Now, how does he feel? Right? He feels very significant, especially if they put my face and my name on the news and they write about me in newspapers and they talk about me. Now I have a legacy. Now I did something that people will talk about. And what the sad thing that they're not realizing is that even if they're talking about you, it's very brief. We've already started to forget, a couple months ago when that kid shot up the in Atlanta, the little Asian massage parlors. Like life goes on, but in our social media everyday instant gratification world, like we hold on to this need, and this need to feel significant is getting less and less and less and less as every day goes by, as every time you swipe, as something new comes on. Who remembers the first time you saw somebody go live? You're like, oh my God, I can interact with them. I'm watching a live. They just said my name. Dr. V just said my name. And you're watching it. Now when people go live, you just scroll, oh, they're live. Okay, scroll, 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 scroll. It's the same thing that's happening. The Columbine shooting from when I was young, that was like the first shooting in a high school. Boy, we still talk about Columbine, but you don't, I live in a really ritzy part of Houston called Bel Air. And a year ago, a kid brought a gun to school and shot one of his classmates. He didn't die. Classmate didn't die, I don't think. And they arrested him. But, that's, no one remembers that anymore, right? But our need to feel significant is so strong. If you understand what I said, that's the extreme end of it, okay? Dr. V, why are you talking about this? This is really depressing. Well, in my challenge, we study a lot of thinkers, and one of the speakers and thinkers that we talk about is Jordan Peterson. And Jordan Peterson says, like, it has to work in the most extreme situations. If you're testing a theory, if you're trying out a product, if you're trying to figure out if a system works, it has to work in the most extreme situations. And so I'm talking about these extreme mass shootings right now as an example of the need to feel significant. But if you take it to a smaller scale, let's talk about everyday scale. Now you really understand why your coworker thinks the way they think. your mother-in-law causes all this drama. Put a yes in the comments section if you have a friend or loved one or a sibling, a sister, or a child that seems to always be causing drama, that is always like in everybody's business. That's the gossip hen. That is the, um, the water cooler chatter. They're all into that. They're all into People Magazine, and they're all into like the National Enquirer, and they have to know who's dating who and who is like. Put a yes in the comment section if you know someone like this, and you're like, dude, like stop it, like this is not going to change your life, right? But here's what happens when they cause the drama. What happens? They suck in everybody else that says, oh, poor them. Did you hear about this? Did you hear about what happened to her? Can you believe that? That's so unfair. They should sue. They should do this. They need to kick him to the curb. I can't believe he cheated on her. Da, 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 da. And so she finally kicks him to the curb. And guess what? She starts dating another asshole who a week later is cheating on her. Why? Because she's addicted to this drama. So if she doesn't have, and I'm just saying she, it can be a he, if they if they don't have this drama, they don't have this significance. Who understands what I'm saying? Okay. And if it's not that situation, it'll be another situation. It'll be something else. So let's say you really love them, but Dr. Vong, it's my favorite sister, it's my favorite mother-in-law, or it's whatever, right? It's my favorite coworker. So I'm going to help them. Dr. V, watch me. I'm going to help them. I'm going to rescue them. I'm going to find them a shelter. I'm going to help them get over their addiction. I'm going to help her move out of her boyfriend's apartment, right? I'm going to help her. What happens? 6 months later, she's back at it again. 6 months later, your phone is ringing. Hey man, I can't believe it, but Jimmy said he changed. I got back with him and he didn't change, and I'm stuck in the back alley again. Like he drove off without me. I'm stuck here in the middle of nowhere. Can you come pick me up? Comment if you know this. Comment if you understand what I'm talking about. So at some point you have to realize like their need for significance is so much greater than their desire for a good life. Like they'll sit there and say, no, I want to change. No, I don't want to be with them. No, I really want someone who's really going to appreciate me. The fuck you do? No, you don't. Who understands what I'm saying? They want to feel, their drive to feel more significant is much greater than their drive to have a good, peaceful life, like a calm, peaceful life where no one talks about them, where they're not the center of attention. They're not the water cooler talk. Very powerful, right? This Tony Robbins, certainty, the human need for certainty, the human need for uncertainty, and a human need for significance. It's super, super powerful. Well, Dr. Vong, how do I get over this then? Let's say it's me. How do I not engage? How do I not cause this drama? How do I get over this? Well, we talk about this in the challenge. You get rid of the news. You stop responding to haters on YouTube or people commenting. You just block people. You turn off the television. You stop watching drama shows and Spanish novellas and all this sort of stuff, right? And Thich Nhat Hanh says it the best. We study Thich Nhat Hanh also. And he says very simply, next tip, I breathe in, I breathe out. I breathe in, I breathe out. And that's why we start with meditation. This is how you control these emotions. This is how you control this feeling. Like, okay, like I feel bad. I breathe in, I breathe out. Like, I breathe in, I breathe out. Yeah, it's like that old commercial, like, stop, count to 10, take a hold of yourself before you take a hold of your baby. Who remembers that commercial? It was like, that was back in the 80s when moms were like, it's a new thing, shaken baby syndrome. Like young moms were shaking babies. And they don't have neck strength, and and they were causing whiplash in these babies. And so we had to do a whole PSA, public service announcement. Stop. Get a hold of yourself before you get a hold of your baby. So you got to get a hold of yourself. You got to count to 10. I breathe in, I breathe out. I breathe in, I breathe out, right? But Dr. Vong, I get that. I can breathe in, I can breathe out. But then once I stop, the drama continues, or this continues. Here's the next tip. What tip are we on? Number 5? Number 5, right? So Jack Kornfield, who we also study, he says this. He says, you have to learn to sit with your discomfort. That's a big aha for some of y'all. You have to learn to sit with your discomfort. Why are you eating at night? Why are you stress eating? Why are you trying to snack? Why are you going through the drive-through? Why are you, why are you going to the gym 3 times a day? Who the fuck has time to go to the gym 3 times a day, right? It's because you don't want to feel a feeling. Why do you overeat? Why do you eat on chocolate? Like, I'm a chocoholic. No, you're not. You're not a fucking chocoholic. You are trying to suppress a feeling. You don't want to feel this emotion. So if I eat this chocolate, it'll hit my pleasure center, right? And I don't have to feel this emotion. And what Jack Kornfield says is, you need to sit with that emotion. It's okay. You need to feel this discomfort, because if you feel this discomfort, it will get you used to other feelings. There will be other things that will come up. As this world is opening up and people are getting crazier and crazier, you are seeing like more and more drama. It's got to get bigger and bigger. It's like a movie. Like, it's got to be bigger and bigger. The crash scenes have to be bigger. The explosions have to be bigger. The CGI has to be even more realistic. It's more and more and more. And so you got to be able to control like just the smallest emotions. The smallest emotions. Some people, and don't start hating me, but the smallest stuff like bugs them, and it doesn't even register on my radar. It could be, a pet dying, which I know is a horrible thing, but it could be like, there's a difference between like a pet mouse or hamster dying or goldfish dying. You don't have the same feelings about your goldfish dying as you do your 15-year-old dog, and then you obviously have more emotions if it's your daughter or your sister or your mom who's died, obviously. So there's escalating scales. But if someone has a nervous breakdown because their pigeon died, how are you going to handle when your mom dies? Who understands my point here, what I'm trying to say? Like, there are these different levels of scale. And so I breathe in, I breathe out, I sit with my discomfort. And that's how I get over this. Now, okay, Dr. Vong, I hear you. I'm going to try to meditate. I'm going to try to sit with my discomfort. I'm going to try to not snack. I'm not going to get up in the middle of the night to eat. I'm just going to sit with it. I'm just going to lie with it, right? Okay. But let's say I really want to help my loved one. My sister is going through a really bad time. What do I do? This is another tip that we've learned, where if at the core of who we are, at the core of what we do, of the very core, at the very core, this is, I'm about to get really spiritual here. You get very deep, right? And when you sit quiet by yourself and you meditate, or I garden a lot, what you realize is at your core, all there is loneliness. You're really lonely, right? And whether you overeat to feel that loneliness, whether you drink to feel that loneliness, whether it's alcohol or drugs, it's loneliness. Whether you cause drama, it's loneliness. Whether you don't feel significant, it's loneliness. And so what you have to do, this is Krishnamurti talks about this. We study Krishnamurti in our challenge group. So how do you help your loved one who is suffering? You speak to their loneliness. You don't help. You're not helping them by, you shouldn't do that. he's bad for you. You shouldn't date them. Or your boss is a jerk. You should have got that promotion. That does not help them. They're just going to repeat the process. They're in a vicious cycle, right? So they're going to date the same guy. He's the same guy. I know he has a different name and he looks different, and he, he was white, now he's black, now he's Asian. He did have tattoos, now he doesn't have, but he's the same fucking guy. I promise you. She's dating the same guy in a different body. They have the same job. It's just a different location, a different company, but it's the same fucking job. Who understands what I'm saying? They're going to repeat this cycle, and the only way you help them get through that cycle is to not bail them out of the situation. Because when you bail them out of the situation, when you give them money, when you loan them money, comment here. Have you ever loaned someone money and they said they're going to pay you back and they never do, and now you're all pissed? They were never going to pay that money back, right? So all you're doing when you're bailing them out is you're empowering them. You're empowering them to repeat the cycle, because mom's going to come bail them out. Sister's going to come bail them out. My best friend's going to come bail me out. And they repeat the cycle because they don't learn the lesson. So instead, what you do, Krishnamurti says, you've got to speak to their loneliness. You've got to speak to their loneliness. Okay. Hold on just a second. All right. So, all right. That's what has to happen. You learn the hard way. That's exactly right. And that's the only way that works. That's the only way that works. What do I do with my patients? How did I get them to lose so much weight? I mean, I speak to their loneliness. I talk about what's really bothering you. Why do you feel the need to snack at night? Why do you feel the need to overeat? These are the things that we work on in the challenge. Now, let me give you the fourth of it's actually the sixth Tony Robbins need, but actually it's the fourth. Okay. So the certainty, uncertainty, significance, and let me give you the fourth one real quick of Tony Robbins' 6 human needs. The fourth one is growth. You need to grow. If it's not growing, it's dying. It's personal growth. So what's happening here is we're caught in this cycle of feeling significant, of wanting to feel significant. We are bundled up in our loneliness, and we can't break the cycle. Why can't I break the cycle, Dr. V? It's because they're not willing to grow. Growth is hard. Growth means you have to face all the demons. You have to you have to claim responsibility for your fuck ups and your screw ups. It says, growth means you have to say, I'm sorry when you hurt someone. Growth means you have to say, I was drunk and I'm trying to get sober, right? That's one of the steps, right? And growth says, I have to pay that money back, or at least apologize for not paying that money back, right? Growth means I have to show up. Growth means that I can't disappear on a 3-day bender. Growth is hard, but we need it. We need to grow as humans. But we don't grow. Why not? Because our society has made it so that people are always willing to bail us out. People are willing to speak to the other 3 needs. People are willing to put our names on social media. People are willing to say, oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo, look at this, and can you believe this happened? And we get that dopamine hit, that high, right? It's one thing. There was this, talk about suffering. Who remembers this lady who documented trying to become the world's heaviest woman? Like she was already 1,000 pounds, and she was going to eat her way to the world record. Talk about suffering. Talk about loneliness. That's how we help this world. That's how we help this society. Today's talk, are you lost in the world like me? Super powerful. Tony Robbins, key lessons, and then how do you handle it, right? Day 454, Transformation Day 2. If you will mark this one, Is this one of your favorites? Is this a keeper? Is this one of the ones today that will really change your life? Comment if you believe it is. But you have to go back and listen to it, because if you don't do the things that I'm telling you that needs to happen, you'll always repeat the cycle, right? Love you guys very much. Are you committing? Are you committing to day 3? Will you be here tomorrow for day 3? You know, day 3 out of 5. We're halfway there. Be awesome. Have a great day. Happy Friday, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.